I'm Andy Panko, owner of 10in Financial. Welcome to Retirement Planning Demystified. This video will answer the question, will Social Security run out of money? Well, I have two answers to that. Sort of, and maybe. I'll explain. But before we start, remember this video is only general explanations and education. It's not specific tax, legal, or investment advice. Before considering acting on anything you see in this video, first consult with your tax, legal, or investment advisor. To address what it actually means for Social Security to run out of money, it helps to first understand how the system is funded. Social Security has two trust funds, each of which is sort of like a big bank account. One is to fund the operations of providing benefits to retirees and their survivors, and the other is to fund the operations of providing benefits to those who are unable to work because of disability. While the two trust funds are legally separate and distinct, the Social Security Administration kind of functionally treats them like one. So for purposes of this video, I'll consider them one big generic Social Security trust fund. The trust fund takes in income from three sources: payroll taxes paid by U.S. employees who work in positions that are covered by Social Security, interest earned on the trust fund's money or reserves, which are invested in securities issued by the U.S. Treasury, and the income taxes paid by benefit recipients on their Social Security benefits. And then the trust fund uses its income and reserves to pay the following expenses: benefit payments to Social Security recipients, the administrative costs of running the Social Security program, and certain retiree benefits paid to railroad workers who are covered by a slightly different federal retirement system, which still tucks itself under Social Security. Let's put some numbers to these. According to the recently released 2020 Social Security Trustees report, in 2019, the trust fund took in over $944 billion of payroll taxes, nearly $81 billion of interest income, and $36.5 billion of income taxes on benefits. That means in 2019, the fund took in a total of $1,061.8 billion of income. Its annual expenses were $1,047.9 billion of benefit payments, $6.4 billion of administrative expenses, and $4.9 billion of railroad benefits. So its total 2019 expenses were $1,059.3 billion. All said and done in 2019, the Social Security Trust Fund took in $2.5 billion more than it paid out. The additional money stays in the trust fund in the form of reserves. At the end of 2018, the fund had $2,894.9 billion of reserves. Add to that the additional $2.5 billion it took in during 2019, and the ending 2019 reserves in the trust fund totaled $2,897.4 billion. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is. However, according to the trustees report, starting in 2021, the fund is expected to begin paying out more than it will take in. This is mainly because of the aging baby boomer population. According to AARP, about 10,000 people a day will turn 65 between now and at least 2030. That means an increasingly more recipients of Social Security benefits. And unfortunately, the number of people joining the workforce and paying payroll taxes into the system won't keep up with the number of people leaving the workforce and starting Social Security. I should also add that the projections in the trustees report do not reflect potential impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. While no one knows how the economic and demographic effects of the healthcare crisis will play out, it's possible more people will retire or otherwise leave the workforce sooner than originally expected. This would mean further strain will be put on the Social Security system, as less people will be paying money in and potentially more people will be taking money out. So, what does that mean for the future of the Social Security system? Yes, starting next year, there will not be enough Social Security income to cover expected Social Security expenses. But so long as there is a positive balance of reserves in the trust fund, there will be additional money to supplement the income to ensure benefits are paid in full. To better understand that, let's walk through a basic example. Assume you have $200 in your bank account, and you'll get a paycheck of $900 per month, but you'll also have $1,000 of monthly living expenses you'll have to pay. Your paycheck will only cover $900, leaving you $100 short. No need to worry though, because you can take that $100 out of your bank account to make up the difference. That means you have $100 left in your account at the end of the first month. So you start the second month with $100 in your bank. You again will receive your $900 paycheck, but will also have to pay another $1,000 of living expenses. Once again, you have to dip into your bank for the other $100. That unfortunately depletes your bank account down to zero. Now you start the third month with nothing in your bank account. You'll get another $900 paycheck, but you'll still have $1,000 of living expenses. Without having any reserves in your bank account, you'll only be able to pay $900 of your $1,000 of expenses. So you have to cut your expenses by $100 per month. This is what's expected to happen to the Social Security Trust Fund. The fund had nearly $2.9 trillion of reserves at the end of 2019, but according to the 2020 Trustees report, the trust fund is expected to deplete to zero in 2035. In that sense, yes, Social Security will run out of money. Or at least the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money. But even when that happens, it doesn't mean benefit payments will completely stop. Just like you continue to receive your monthly paycheck in our previous example, the trust fund will still continue to receive payroll taxes and income taxes. And to the extent there are any reserves sitting in the trust fund for even a short period of time, they'll earn some interest income. However, the total amount of income which is expected to come into the fund is anticipated to only be enough to pay out about 79% of the scheduled benefit payments between 2035 and 2094. And from 2094 onward, it's expected that only 73% of scheduled payments will be able to be paid. From that perspective, Social Security will sort of run out of money. Yes, the trust fund is anticipated to fully deplete in about 15 years, but it's expected that benefit payments will continue to be made for the foreseeable future, albeit at a reduced amount. So I just explained why I said the Social Security system will sort of run out of money. Now let me explain why I said my other answer is maybe. There are still 15 years before the trust fund is expected to hit zero. That means there are 15 years left to make the changes to necessary to prevent the fund from running out. There are an infinite number of ways in which little tweaks and changes can be made to strengthen Social Security's future. However, all changes ultimately boil down to either having people pay more in or having the system pay less out. Clearly, neither option is palatable, and there will be political suicide for any politician who advocates for either. While no one in government appears to currently be willing to stick his or her neck out on this, it's clear something needs to happen. My guess is they'll wait until the 11th hour and jam through some kind of changes to patch things up, but we'll see. In the 2020 Trustees report, there were a few very blunt recommendations on how to prevent the trust fund from depleting. Again, I have to reiterate that the report does not yet account for any expected impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. If anything, I suspect the pandemic would make Social Security's finances more strained, not less. Anyway, the first recommendation from the recent Trustees report was an immediate payroll tax increase from 12.4% to 15.54%. That's an increase of 3.14%. The current 12.4% tax is actually shared between employees and employers, where each pays 6.2% of the employee's wages. Or if you're self-employed, you unfortunately pay the full 12.4% as you're both the employer and the employee. I would assume the recommended 3.14% increase would be shared, where each of the employee and employer would pay an additional 1.57%, but this was just one recommendation. I honestly doubt it will pass. The second recommendation was an immediate 19% reduction in scheduled benefits for all future and current benefit recipients. That means not only reducing eventual benefits for the younger generation, but also reducing benefits for those who are already retired and receiving benefits. I don't see that ever happening. The third recommendation was a 23% reduction in scheduled benefits for those who first become eligible for benefits in 2020 or later. This means people already receiving benefits would not face a reduction, but that implies the benefits of younger people need to have a larger reduction to make up the difference. Now, if I had to guess, whatever changes are ultimately made will be a combination of both higher payroll taxes and lower benefit payments, but only time will tell. So, will Social Security run out of money? Sort of, because the trust fund is expected to deplete, but benefit payments will still continue, though at reduced amounts. And maybe, because there are still 15 years for the government to address Social Security's long-term funding issues to stop it from running out of money. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you feel a bit more informed about Social Security's future. Social Security is not going away. While a potential reduction in benefits is obviously not good, it's clearly not as drastic as benefits completely drying up. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel so you can be the first to know when new videos are posted. And don't forget to subscribe to my monthly newsletter, Retirement Planning Insights, which provides informative retirement planning tips and info. Also, join my free Facebook group, Taxes in Retirement, where you can get answers to all your retirement-related tax questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.